Get that situated. There we go. Shoot, I still got to put my other shoe on. What is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless Wonder the Man, Lincoln Clay, and I said clear, Lincoln Clay, and we are back for another live stream, and this time we are doing Automobile Lista 2. I don't plan on doing too much racing. Fact of the matter is, I took today off so I can get a couple of my cars repaired. Both of them need rotors and brake pads. So I already got one car repaired, and I picked it up and dropped off the other one. So I'm just waiting to get the phone call that the second car has been repaired, and then I head on out and go pick that up. So it's something that I needed to address now before I think it gets serious. Both cars had warped rotors, so whenever I would apply the brakes, the steering wheel would shake, and sometimes it would shake violently depending on how fast I'm going. So that definitely needed to be addressed. So again, I got one car repaired. Feels great. Go pick up the other one here in hour, 2 hours or so. So yeah, I'm just more or less I just more or less want to talk, and basically I'm just using Automobile Lista 2 just to put around in while I talk a little bit. And before I dive into the titles of this stream, I do want to address a comment from my last stream. So for those of you who watched my last stream, I really appreciate it. Apologies that I may not be coming back to GT7. I still haven't 100% made a decision on it. I mean, if you were to back me into a corner and force me to give you an answer, the answer would be yes, that I am done with GT7, but
P4, the track temp is 102, the air temp is 82 Fahrenheit, 5 laps.
But never say never. So during that stream, I talked about a variety of topics, and at some point I got to the reprojection of PSVR 2. And I spoke about the reprojection of PSVR 2, that it makes games look blurry. And a lot of VR content creators, yes, they acknowledge that the reprojection is there, but they only they say it and then try to brush it to the side and then start going into all the great things about PSVR 2, that it's a great piece of tech and this and that and that and this. I cannot consider something a great piece of tech if it makes me feel like I'm going backwards. Case in point, look at that Corvette down there. It may have the latest engine in it, the latest tech, latest traction control, latest anti-lock brakes, dual overhead cams, all that good stuff. But it has the acceleration of a garbage truck. I could never look at a car like that with that kind of acceleration, and then people talk about the amazing shit that's under the hood of that car. The amazing traction control, the amazing anti-lock brakes, the amount of horsepower the car has. What good is all that if the thing picks up like a truck? And that's where I sit with PSVR 2. I find it rather, what's the word I want to use? I find it rather concerning that some people talk about it's a great piece of tech and this and that and that and this, and then when you put the headset on, as soon as you start moving around, you see the reprojection and shit looks blurry. I can't find. There's nothing in a headset that I can find amazing when like I said, it makes me feel like I'm going backwards. So in addition to that, I felt that Sony's marketing of PSVR 2 was disingenuous. They showed us crispy 4K trailers with Pavlov, After the Fall, GT7, Horizon Call of the Mountain. All of them had beautiful, crisp 4K trailers. Those trailers were so crisp that it had me wondering if it actually is going to be sharper than PC. And I'm like, this headset is still using Fresnel lenses, and it doesn't have near the power of my 4090, but yet somehow this thing still might look better than that. And then I got into the headset day one. When I put that headset on, I mean, I didn't say it the day that I was streaming because I didn't want to look like the Debbie Downer. But when I put that headset on, the first thing came to my head was, what the fuck is this blurry shit? Horizon Call of the Mountain was blurry. GT7 was blurry. And then there was a outpouring of videos of what you needed to do to reduce the blur, to reduce the mirror, to reduce the reprojection, all that shit. And yeah, I got it to look better, but I got it to look tolerable. What I'm looking at right here now, the sharpness through this Quest Pro, I can look at it all day. And we'll get to that in a moment too, because I did pre-order the Pimax Crystal and then the PS5 thing, but it's taking me so long to get to my point. My last stream, someone made a comment, and they said, "Yeah, I see what you mean about the reprojection versus the 4K trailers that Sony showed us for said games." And he said that once you see games at a native frame rate, it's night and day. And he used Red Matter 2 as an example. In all fairness, Red Matter 2 does look incredible on PSVR 2. It's the best. The only version looks better than the PSVR 2 version is PC. Red Matter 2 with the Quest 3 patch, the PSVR 2 version only looks slightly better than that. So the flip side of that coin is that Red Matter 2 is a puzzle game that does not have a lot of action. There's a lot of dialogue in the game. You're moving around, solving puzzles, and then somebody talks to you and continues to give you backstory. There's not a lot of action in that game. And when you have puzzle games that don't have a lot of action in it, yes, of course you can make them look good. Lone Echo would be a prime example. It's one of the best looking games I've ever seen. But there's not a lot of action in the game. A lot of puzzles, a lot of dialogue. The games that's got a lot of action in it, resources have to be applied for other things, explosions, what have you, and then the game's not going to look that good. In the case of Pavlov and Red Matter had native frame rates. Pavlov runs at a native 90 frames per second on PSVR 2. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look near as good as PC on, say, like this headset. Pavlov is incredibly sharp through this headset on PC, and PSVR 2 isn't even close. So that was kind of my response to the person that made a comment. The reason why I chose to address that comment is because what I just said now is what I wanted to say to that person, but it would have taken me forever to type it out, and I've got a busy day ahead of me, and so I figured it'd just be quicker to just take a couple of minutes and address his comment, and he can get the answer to his question here in this stream if he comes back and takes and watches the first 10-15 minutes of this stream. So now that brings us on to one of the titles of this stream, and that is that for those of you not living under a VR rock, Pimax just revealed 3 new headsets: the Pimax Crystal Lite, the Pimax Crystal Super. Actually, I guess it's 2 headsets. I guess the Pimax Crystal Super allows you to switch panels for better resolution. In the case of the Pimax Crystal Lite, it is a pure PC headset with all the standalone stuff stripped out of it that was in the Pimax Crystal. The battery is gone. The XR chip that was in the Pimax Crystal is gone. So yeah, it's still a pure PC headset. I pre-ordered it. This headset sells for $700. I think it's a reasonable price headset because, you know, throughout my years of VR sim racing and always searching for that clarity, along the way, I've also searched for headsets that will give me that clarity without setting my computer on fire. When the Oculus Rift S was out, I was actually blown away by what I saw with that headset. I thought it was a great looking headset at a reasonable price. And then the Valve Index comes out sometime behind that with a resolution of 1600p versus the 1440p of the Rift S. And so my assumption was that, you know, in a year or two, Oculus would come out with another PC headset. It would be the Oculus Rift 2 or, you know, whatever you want to call it. And it didn't happen. They went the standalone route with PC capability. And I mean, that's great that you got a 2-in-1 headset, but the compression, decompression aspect of these standalone headsets as a PC headset, it can have some issues that can get a little bit annoying at times. And one of the things that I've been dealing with lately is the audio. I mean, sometimes I plug this headset up to play PC games and I have no audio, and I have to keep restarting this headset, and I have to keep restarting the computer, and I have to keep unplugging and plugging this link cable back up, and I'm pretty much fed up with it. I'm ready for a PC headset with a display port connection that's direct, that's going to give me the clarity of this headset without any issues that taxes the PC even less. So as far as this MetaQuest Pro goes, I will still use it as a PC headset from the standpoint of either playing standalone games that are graphically intense. I'll still use it as a PC headset in the other room in there, even though I've got another Quest Pro in there. I'll still use it as a PC headset because that's my play space in there, and I can play games wirelessly with the AirLink. Now, the AirLink, I don't have any problems with the AirLink. My son loves it. He loves playing games wirelessly on the PC in there using AirLink. The problem with AirLink is that racing games in VR are super demanding. So every layer that you add to it, it taxes the PC that much more. So to use this headset and then use AirLink, I've already tried AirLink on this particular computer. It does not run well. Virtual Desktop runs well, but it takes up a lot of resources. So you're talking about opening the Oculus app, the PC app, using Virtual Desktop, and then I open up the game to run it in VR, and then we're talking about opening up OBS, and then I'm opening up speech chat, and any other apps I might forget just to do a stream. It taxes the shit out of your PC. For me to stream racing games in VR, it basically requires every bit of this 4090 that this PC has, because it's going to be running a bunch of other stuff too. So I think let's put around for a second while I try to gather my words for the other topic, and that is that I am highly debating about selling my PSVR 2 as well as my PS5.
Okay, Link, get ready. Green, green, green.
Oh, incredibly sharp picture. As always.
Car left. Still there. Clear left.
That's it. Yeah, I got clipped.
5 laps. Okay, mate, get ready. Relax. Green, green, green.
Tired of seeing how clear this game is. Leave me in the dust. This hypercar is so compact on the inside.
Bandit Drift is leading the race. Car right.
And my car severely damaged.
Your suspension is looking pretty bad, mate.
Oh yeah, look at that. Suspension right there. 58, yeah, this car's busted. Well, it just so happens that I'm right by the pits. Probably get a penalty for cutting across the lanes like this, but oof.
Look out for the pit speed limit.
Looking up there in the pit box, I also like how that display is. Got fuel, I don't need any fuel. Tires, I don't need tires. You see over on the right, repairs. And you can choose to take off if you want, but the repairs won't be complete and the car won't be optimal.
Navis
is now in the lead. All done, go!
I'll put around a little bit more and then I'll go ahead and jump into this PSVR 2 subject. Because yeah, there's a lot of layers to peel back.
Pit exit's clear.
I'm feeling about that. And keep forgetting that I'm in a much faster car, so I gotta brake earlier. After I round this corner, I'll pull over.
Wind in front is pitting.
Okay, so let's talk about this PSVR 2 thing. Where do I start? I guess we'll bring it right back to GT7. For those of you that's been following the channel for a while, know I'm a VR sim racer. You do know, I would like to think that some of you know that the biggest reason I keep using different numbers, 90%, 95%, 98%, but the bottom line is GT7 is the main reason I bought a PS5. Even though PSVR 2 appeared to be more than a year out. I wanted to make sure I already had a I wanted to make sure that I already had a PS5 in hand, especially with COVID and scalpers making it really difficult to get a PS5. When I finally got one, I already bought it knowing that it would be probably about a year before I would get.
Said, "Hey dude,
Ham, how's my guy? How's it going, my guy?"
Vanderdrift is now leading.
I guess, Ham, to extend the conversation that we were having on Discord, I finally responded to the Pimax contact, Joanna, and we'll just see if she. We'll see if she writes back. You know, I apologize for taking like 4 or 5 months to respond, but yeah, you know, I had a conversation with you that that I was a little bit apprehensive about receiving messages from people on Discord because my son, along with a few other people that I know, have been hacked. So coming back to this PSVR thing, so again, you know, PS5, PSVR 2 was the main reason. You know, well, GT7 was the main reason I bought those two items, and I knew that at least for the first year of the existence of PSVR 2, that GT7 and VR would pretty much all I would be interested in playing. That's not to say that they didn't have any games, because there's a ton of games on PSVR 2. Is that was one of the few games that I would not be able to play anywhere else. All the other games, majority of the other games that I have in my PSVR 2 library, already have them on PC, and I think those are the best versions because they have the sharpest picture. So now what brought me to the point where I'm considering selling my PSVR 2, my PS5, is a combination of I would say 3 things. One is the GT7 game itself. I'm not enjoying it. I've like had it up to here with the dirty racers. The stream I did a couple of days ago, I left it up on purpose for those of you that want to watch and see what I experienced. And I do not enjoy this. It's beyond frustrating when I practice.
MDR said, I might sell both my PS5S and PSVR 2.
I don't blame you.
I'm just not using them anymore.
I don't use it either. And the one game that I do try to use it for, I'm not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying GT7. I've tried to avoid saying that for a couple of reasons. One is that when it comes to PlayStation fanboys, if you dare say anything about PS5, you get attacked. You get called every kind of ist in the book. You know, you don't like Forspoken, or you don't like Phantom Fantasy, or you don't like this, you don't like that. You're some kind of misogynist, you're some kind of feminist, you're some kind of racist, you're some kind of sexist, you're some kind of leftist. You're always some kind of ist, you know, with the PlayStation fanboys. So I've tried to avoid saying that, you know, it's not really doing much for me. The other thing is with GT7 is microtransactions of that game. I mean, I think that just got me started on the wrong foot. The microtransactions in GT7 is absolutely ridiculous. I think that was underhanded of Sony to give out review copies of the game and turn off the microtransactions so reviewers wouldn't put that in their reviews. And then as soon as the game came out, they turned the microtransactions on. And then when they were criticized about the microtransactions, they tried to say that it was based on real world values. So they're charging some of these cars in the game cost 20 million credits, and it would cost you about $200 in real money to get it. Also think that ridiculous microtransactions, I think car collectors and PSVR 2 users are the target, because racing in VR has always been amazing, and it always will be. And that's the one thing about GT7 that I never get tired of seeing. I never get tired of seeing new users talk about how amazing it is, the sense of speed, the sense of depth. I never get tired of hearing those people say that. But Sony knows that there's some new people coming to PSVR 2 that's going to be amazed by actually sitting in their favorite supercar or their favorite legend car and figuring they're going to pay through the nose if they want to drive it. So you want to drive that $4 million Bugatti, it's probably going to cost you like $40 or $50 in real world money to be able to have that Bugatti in the game. The microtransactions in GT Sport weren't that bad. It was pretty simple. Every car on there cost anywhere between $3 and $5. It's not the case with GT7. So, 30 racing of GT7 and the microtransactions already left like a kind of bitter taste in my mouth, no homo. And then where PSVR 2 comes in, since it's the only game that I'm really playing on PSVR 2.
Okay, Link, you want to watch your water temperature? It's looking a little high.
The reprojection of PSVR 2, some days I can deal with it. Some days I put the headset on and I can deal with it. Other days I put the headset on and that super sweet small spot, it's about the size of a damn pupil, and you look outside of it and everything else is blurry, even with the eye tracking, and you're going like this and, you know, moving the head around and always having to turn the IPD dial and shit like that to finally get dialed in. Some days I get tired of that shit. You know, some days I put that headset on and instantly everything is blurry and I just feel like taking the shit off and just like throwing it. I have never done that in my life. I've never thrown a VR headset until a couple of days ago. When I got taken out, if you go back and watch my latest stream from a couple of days ago, when I got wrecked and got spun around, I took my headset off.
Oil and water temperatures are high. You need to back off a little.
Just tapped it and just tossed it over onto the couch. So that brings us back to, if I'm done GT7 and it was the only game that I was playing on PS5 and PSVR 2, if I'm done with it, what's the sense of even having the console and the headset? I said it before. The other games in my library, like Pavlov or Breachers, those games look better on PC. Not only that,
your engine's running a bit rough, mate.
There aren't any other racing.
That engine's in a bad way. Just take it easy. Let's see if we can get it to the finish.
I just blew the motor.
The engine's fucked. Nicely done, mate.
Never seen that before. I blew the motor. Yeah. Oh, wow. That made me forget what I was saying about PSVR 2. I know that
was a fucking waste of time.
I know I was talking about the reprojection and how I know what I was saying. That so after GT7, what else is there? You know, I've got other games on there, Pavlov, Preachers. I've got them on PC. They look better on PC. And the other thing I was about to say is there's no other racing games on PSVR 2 other than GT7. And I think that's for two reasons. One is I don't think the PS5 has enough power or resources to run those games and make it look good. I think the other thing is I think Sony may have ordered those publishers not to put a racing game on PSVR 2 so that GT7 will be the only racing game on PSVR 2.
Alakazam said, "What's going on?
Alakazam, how's it going?
PSVR 2 is okay. The Quest 3 lens are way more clear. I was disappointed."
In that aspect, Alakazam, congratulations on getting a PSVR 2. But on the flip side of that, if you have a Quest 3, And you said it right there, how much clear those lenses are. I don't know. Just all in all, I just prefer the game on PC. It's clear. I'm not gonna lie, the games don't always run better than PSVR 2, but that's because of the reprojection. You're so busy looking at that blur that you don't actually see the frames going like this. You don't kind of see the frames hopping over each other. When you're able to separate that and you see like one frame, you see every other frame, you'll see that it would not run that good. I believe that GT7, if it ran through PSVR 2 at a native 60 frames per second, it would be choppy. Inserting those frames, the fake frames in between the native frames, creates that reprojection, and you're so busy looking at the blur that you don't even, it looks smooth because you're looking at a blurry picture. You're so focused on the blur. And as I was saying, like, not every game in my library runs as smooth as GT7, but at the same time, because of the settings of my computer, just about every game that I play runs at a native frame rate. So every game that I run on my PC will always look sharper than PSVR 2. Even when I was using the Reverb G2, it still had a much sharper picture than PSVR 2. But the same deal, the super small sweet spot. I guess at the moment, the only things really stopping me from saying that that my PS5 and my PSVR 2 are going up for sale is one, as I guess, FOMO. I don't want to sell it, and then Sony actually does continue to support the headset and give us something that we never saw coming. The other thing is that right now, I don't think PSVR 2 is worth shit. I paid $550 for that headset. I think if I was to put it up on eBay, I would probably only get half of what I paid for it. Sony can't tell us what games are coming up for PSVR 2, but they can tell us that it's going to PC. I don't think it's going to sell very well on PC, especially now with this with the announcement of the new Pimax headset. For you people that's looking to get PSVR 2 on PC because of the eye tracking, do not be fooled. These games are not going to work out of the box with the eye tracking. It's going to fall on the developer to go back and put enable the eye tracking. This headset has eye tracking, but because Meta were, in my opinion, did something that wasn't very smart. They marketed this headset as a business headset for enterprising. And then when it flopped, they tried to turn around and say it was a gaming headset, that it was the ultimate gaming headset. Well, by the time they flipped the script, it was too late because a lot of people had already developed their games. And I don't think the Quest Pro sold very well, and these developers are not going to go back and restructure these games to enable the eye tracking for a game that already came and went. A game that came out 3 years ago, they're certainly not going to go back and implement the eye tracking for PSVR 2. For only 2 people to take advantage of it. The same thing can be said about the PlayStation Pro. I do not think these games on the PS5 Pro, when it comes out, I do not think these games are going to work right out of the box with a native frame rate. So all these developers that develop their games with reprojection when the PS5 Pro comes out, they would have to go back and give it a native frame rate, that's provided that Sony lets them do it, because with the PS4 Pro and the PS4, Sony mandated parity. If the game ran on 30 frames per second on the PS4, it had to run at 30 frames per second on the PS4 Pro, because they wanted the playing field to be level. The same thing could happen with the PS5. Sony could conceivably tell developers that if you use reprojection on the PS5 version of the game, you got to use reprojection on the PS4 Pro version of the game. Because if you got one game running at 120 frames reprojected and got another one running at 90 native, maybe Sony feels that could disrupt the balance of the game, in terms of an online game. So, no, I'm not buying a PS5 Pro. It would make absolutely zero sense for me to buy that, especially when I don't even use my PSVR 2. Like, I'm not going to say I don't use it anymore, but if I wasn't putting out content for YouTube, because I don't know what the percentage is, but there is a few people on this channel that follow the Gran Turismo stuff. I try to keep it all even, so the ACC users get to see something, the GT7 users get to see something, whatever. But over time, I just kind of zeroed in on ACC until Le Mans Ultimate came out, and now I don't even play ACC anymore, because I had it with the bullshit that happens on that game. I've had it with the dive bombers. So at the moment, I'm still up in the air as to whether I'll stream GT7 again. I'm still up in the air as to whether I would sell the headset and the console. But I can tell you this, we're just about halfway through the year. And Sony still hasn't made any kind of announcement of any first-party game coming to PSVR 2. And I keep hearing people, the games are coming. We ain't seen shit. I'm not hearing that anymore. All that being said, I give Sony till September. If they don't show us why we should continue to believe in PSVR 2 by then, and by that I mean a first-party game, if they don't show us something by then, I'm probably going to check all the way out of PS5, PSVR 2. And if I decide that I'm going to be checking all the way out of GT7, I'm not missing anything, because the headset's not getting used. In addition to all of that shit, Sony did not make PSVR 2 streamer friendly. If you stream from the headset, you got to run it through a capture card in order to have proper chat interaction. If you run directly from the headset without a capture card, there's no chat window like you had on the previous PSVR, and then the voice chat does not mention names. You just hear the comment and that's it. Somebody makes a comment and I'm like, who made that comment? Could you identify yourself? And that kind of shit. I run PSVR 2 through my capture card. I have to use a separate headphone so I can hear chat. So now I got to try to run all this shit through a different headset, and sometimes it gets out of sync. So I turn a corner like this, and then half a second later, I hear the tire screeching in there, because it's all out of sync, because I'm running the PS5 through a computer using a different headphones. rather than the native audio within there, so I can hear the chat, you know, through speech chat and shit like that. So it's just like I found more things to complain about with PSVR 2 than I found things to praise it about. I'm doing more complaining about that headset than praising. And I've tried to avoid doing it because I don't want to look like the negative Nancy. And I think that some VR creators are going out of their way to steer clear of people that they think are negative towards PSVR 2. But I'm not going to sit here and act like there isn't a problem. There is a problem with PSVR 2. Sony is not showing anybody why they should feel good about the future of this headset. Am I jumping ship? Not quite yet, but I definitely got my eye on the lifeboats. So with that, I think my rant, or whatever you want to call it, is over. Let's I don't know why I've been having you know how you get a urge for food, you know, certain foods on a certain day. I don't know. Today, I think I got an urge to go back to Long Beach in my trusty Corvette. In the American junk. I've done Long Beach quite a bit. Let's try to do... I've done Laguna Seca a bunch of times, but I haven't done their version of Laguna Seca. Let's have a look at it. And then as far as opponent settings, let's do the same class.
So 123 said, "Hey man, I have the same headsets like you have and I'll be holding out until PC support comes before considering a new HMD." So 123 said, "Upgrading to a new headset is something I'm planning to do once there is new PC hardware available.
5
Running
laps.
Sims on the
They can
Quest
count.
Pro
The
is
track temp
already
is
demanding and I don't want to lower
128.
settings."
The air temp is 84
So
Fahrenheit.
123
P14.
said, "For a high residential HMD.
I personally, honestly, I didn't want to say it, but if you already have a gaming PC and you want to play games in VR, you already have the headset that you're looking for. I think it makes no sense to buy PSVR 2 for PC. You don't know how it's going to run. And you're still, and in my opinion, you're still dealing with the Fresno lenses. You're dealing with Fresno lenses that have a super small sweet spot. And if you play a game, the dynamic FOV isn't working, you know, the eye tracking, if you look outside of that sweet spot, it's going to look like dog shit. You know, I'm starting to get a little bit worked up right now. I don't mean to. I try to stay even kill. Like, what I'm looking at right now with this Quest Pro, PSVR 2 don't come close. If you have a Quest 3...
So 123 said, "But I already have the PSVR 2 and Quest Pro grimacing face."
Yep, I have it too. You know, I have two Quest Pros, a Quest 3, PSVR 2. I had two Quest 2s, but I gave one of them away. I gave it away to a guy that I work with because I was returning his kindness. He gave me a Nintendo Switch, so I gave him one of my Quest 2s. I still have my Rift S in there that I still use from time to time. But I mean, Speaking of a standpoint of giving my recommendations, if you already have a gaming PC and you want to play VR, you already have the headset that you're looking for. You're not waiting for the PC support of PSVR 2. I don't recommend it. I feel like Sony's this move to bring PSVR 2 to PC, I kind of feel like, I hate to say it, I think this is Sony's move to clear out these warehouses that got headsets stacked to the ceiling. I think they're trying to clear out the inventory, and then they might be getting ready to pull the plug or wave the white flag on PSVR 2. There's a rumored state of play coming up next month. And I guess in this state of play, it is rumored that we could see the next Astrobot game. So YouTubers, you know, like several content creators, including Petrifying Pumpkins, I agree with him that if a new Astrobot is revealed and they do not announce any kind of VR support for that game, it's over. PSVR 2 is over. I think Sony's lack of transparency, lack of communication, I think in the beginning was arrogant, and they got away with it for a while because they would get quiet, would start complaining about them being quiet, and then they would show us a game coming out that blows everybody away, and then everybody's happy again. So I think Sony played that little game. They would wait for people to start complaining, and then they would come out with something knowing that it's going to blow everybody away. That's not going to happen with PSVR 2. Unless they give everybody a Spider-Man or a God of War in VR, I don't think it's anything they can show us that's going to have people jumping out of their socks. Sure, that Metro game is coming out, but you can play that everywhere. I sure as the fuck not going to buy it on PSVR 2, buying it on PC. I think this PSVR 2 to PC thing is not going to work out the way Sony plans. I think this surplus of headset that Sony has, I think it's going to take them forever to get rid of it. I think it was
123 said 100% agree, but there is no PC alternative in the same price bracket. Old 120 FPS native connection.
It depends on the headset. It depends on the PC. As a PC headset, this Quest Pro is capable. Well, I know the Quest 3. The Quest 3 is capable of going up to 120 hertz. I believe this headset can do it, but I set it at 90 hertz so I can boost up some of the visuals. Can't, like, even with a 4090, it's hard to have both. It's hard to run everything on Ultra and then still run it at 120 frames native. Something's got to give. In my case, I'm willing to sacrifice the frame rate and go down to 190 so I can have some of these beautiful visuals that you guys are looking at. Super sharp picture. Good colors from these, I believe these are micro, I think these are micro ULED panels, I'm not sure. And the local dimming gives it good blacks. That's the biggest thing that I'm going to lose by buying the Pimax Crystal Lite, is that I pre-ordered the one without the local dimming. The one with the local dimming is going to give you deeper blacks. But the only thing, I mean, when it comes to sim racing games, I'm not that terribly concerned about blacks. But yeah, this PC VR thing, I don't think it's going to work out the way Sony plans. I think it's going to take them forever to get rid of whatever inventory they have left. I think it was rumored that Sony produced, like, according to that Bloomberg report, I think it was rumored that they produced like 2 million headsets. And they gave us numbers when they hit 600,000, but they haven't said a word since. So I'm not even sure if they hit 1 million yet in terms of units sold. So they probably still got another 1 million headsets laying around that they're trying to get rid of. Unless they drop that price, they are not going to move these headsets the way they hope. Jumping over to PC is not going to move, like, especially now that the Crystal Lite just got revealed. Fuck those OLED panels. Fuck that eye tracking. For my advice, I would tell you to spend the extra $150 and get that Pimax Crystal Lite. It has aspheric lenses, a resolution of 2880. It's capable of going up to 120 hertz. If you're already on PC, especially gaming in VR, you know it's not cheap if you want the best performance. You're not going to get the best performance on a potato. So if you were trying to run like a Pimax Crystal on a potato with a 1660, yeah, you're in the wrong field. You know, then PSVR 2 on PS5 is where you're better suited.
Okay, Link, are you ready? Watch for the lights. Green, green, green. Right side's clear. Perfect start, mate. This is great. Left side. Still there. He's still there. Hold your line.
Damn, these dudes disrespected me.
Hold your line.
Oh shit!
Still there. Clear left. On your left. Clear left. B15.
Sounds beautiful.
So 123 said, looking forward for your feedback once you get it. I'm already struggling to run games with stable 90 FPS with my Quest Pro and 4080. Pimax I have to run in potato graphics.
Left side. Clear left.
You know what? Let me pull over for a second and talk about that comment. So I'm running a Quest Pro, and I've talked about this before. 2160p on a flat screen game and 2160p in VR are not the same. Especially when it comes to sim racing games. A game with simple graphics that's been built from the ground up that is a 100% VR game, 2160 is fine. But when it comes to sim racing games, 2160p does not look that good. When it comes to sim racing games in VR, in order for me to get the VR part of it to even look remotely close to the flat screen version of the game, I have to up the resolution. I'm running this in VR. I'm running this at 3170p because I keep playing with the VR slider in Steam VR. You could take it way up to like 5,000, but your PC would never be able to handle it. So through the Oculus app, the native resolution of this headset as a standalone is 1920p. When you connect it to the Oculus app and run it as a PC headset, you can upscale it or super sample it, whichever you want to use. You can upscale it to 2136p, which is decent. But then as soon as you turn on Steam VR, then you can like super sample it even more. And so by running this game through Steam VR, I can boost the resolution up to, like I said, up to 5,000. But where I'm finding the balance is like 3100, 3200p. That's where I'm getting this super crisp picture that you guys see, and I can still maintain 90 frames per second. But now here's where the problem is. I've got the Oculus app open. That taxes the PC. I've got Steam VR open. That's taxing the PC, and I'm running it at 3170, as I said. So that, is taxing the PC even more. OBS, before they came out with the AV1 codec, used to tax the shit out of your PC. Just opening up the OBS app would tax your GPU by up to 20%. But now with the AV1 codec, it only OBS now only taxes my PC by like 9% because of the AV1 codec. So that's like a godsend. Then if you can use the OpenXR toolkit, it removes a layer. So by using the OpenXR toolkit, basically it removes the Steam VR, therefore freeing up some resources on your computer, allowing me to turn up the sharpness filter, and then it has a turbo mode, which I turn that on, and I get a buttery smooth 90 frames per second. And because of the sharpening filter, I turned it up to like 75%. The sharpness is just unbelievable. And then you also add in that I'm using a headset with pancake lenses too. So when I get my hands on that Crystal Lite, I'm going to be able to run it at a 2880. And if I'm assuming that it's going to support OpenXR, so I won't have to use Steam VR. So that's one less layer that's going to be taxing my PC. So that is the biggest reason I'm getting the Crystal Lite, is because it's still going to give me the visuals that I'm seeing, but because there's no decompression that I'm having to deal with the link cable, along with having to add, Steam VR into the mix and all that kind of shit, is going to free up some resources. I'm still going to maintain the 90 frames per second, but what that should do is allow me to turn the graphics up. Turn everything up to ultra. I mean, I've seen what, I've seen what these games look like through VR, with the resolution cranked up to damn near 4,000 and the shit turned up to ultra, with everything turned up to ultra. I've seen it, and it looks damn near 1-to-1 with the flat screen version, but it ran like shit because it is taxing the shit out of your PC. That is my reason for wanting the Quest Lite, is because it's going to give me the visuals that I'm seeing, but it's going to free up resources because of the display port connection. And I mean, in VR, this is a game that I never get tired of looking at. The picture's so sharp, so gorgeous. Now, in all fairness,
the leader's just done it. 125.34.
In all fairness, when I was playing R Factor 2 a few days ago, the picture, in terms of the sharpness, the picture was almost as sharp as this game. Problem was that the game looked old, and like, depending on what track you were on, and then depending on whether it was.
So 123 said, "Thanks, man, and sorry for interrupting your race, grinning face with smiling eyes."
No. Don't worry about interrupting me. I want the conversation. That's the whole point of this stream. I wanted to have a conversation.
Said,
"Alright, Link, the next car is
PSVR2,
Decker."
But I didn't see what some people was saying, that the visuals blew them away.
Hey, let me pause. People, honestly, at times I have a hard time understanding why people say that the visuals of PSVR 2 is blowing them away. Because if I recall correctly, one of the reasons why people did not want to come anywhere near PSVR 1 is because they were complaining about the blur. Well, in PSVR 2, the reprojection produces a blurry image. When I'm playing GT7 on PSVR 2, when I'm sitting still and I look around, is the picture razor sharp like what I'm seeing right now out of this Quest Pro? Hell no. But it still looks good until you get to a corner and you have to turn, and then everything turns blurry because of the reprojection. There are some VR content creators out there that's been doing this shit just as long as I have. And when they talk about how they're blown away by the visuals of PSVR 2, I'm looking at them side-eye like, okay, yeah. You've been a VR content creator for 8 years, and you've had every headset out there, and you seem to be blown away by PSVR 2? Okay. So, but yeah, in terms of interrupting the race, no. I want the conversation because I gotta leave shortly to go pick up my other car that's in the shop. I took the day off so I could get 2 of my cars repaired. And so this stream,
so 123 said, "I think we have to wait for PC support to see the full potential. In GT7 we have reproduction and it doesn't look like it's running in full res."
I'll say this about PSVR 2 when it comes to PC. How much better it looks than the PS5 all depends on your PC. With me having the 4090, of course it's going to look better than what I'm seeing through the PS5. But at the same time, I'm going to have headsets this got better lenses and can run at a higher resolution. Although my son has my PS3, my son has my Quest 3, but I have the Quest 3. I have 2 Quest Pros. I'm wearing one right now, and the other one is in that room. So I've got 3 headsets with pancake lenses. And then when I get that Crystal Lite, it has aspheric lenses, which I'm just going to say is their version of pancake lenses. I'm going to have 4 headsets with pancake lenses. Why would I go to the PSVR 2? The local dimming of this Quest Pro, in my opinion, makes blacks comparable to PSVR 2. Right now, that's the only thing that PSVR 2 has over everybody else is the OLED panels give you super deep blacks. But what the fuck difference does that make if the picture is blurry to me? Playing GT7, I could give 2 shits less about seeing a super black skid mark on the track if the rest of the visuals are blurry.
So 123 said, for you of course not. But it will a big step up for Quest 2 users.
I disagree. If you're on PC using a Quest 2, why would you, especially if you don't have a PSVR 2, why would you spend 500?
So 123 said, and I think it could be better than the Quest Pro with resolution and FOV.
I disagree. What it comes down to is pancake lenses are much, much better than Fresnel lenses. There's no sweet spot with pancake lenses. Once I get this headset on, there's no moving it around trying to fish for a sweet spot, trying to fish around for that clear spot. Once you get the headset on, everything is clear from this end to this end. Even with the dynamic foveated rendering of PSVR 2, if you look outside of that super small sweet spot, everything is still blurry. Now, if you're on PC and you got a Quest 2, you still got a Quest 2 because you want a Quest 2. Why would you spend $550 for PSVR 2 when you can spend $500 for the Quest 3 and get those pancake lenses? You can get the pancake lenses, and then you can still use the Quest 3 as a standalone headset. And with a lot of these games getting the Quest 3 enhancement, a lot of these Quest 3 standalone games are looking pretty damn good. Red Matter 2 on Quest 3 looks incredible. I had a hard time.
So 123 said, let's wait and see, smiley face. Regardless how it turns out, good times ahead for PC sim racing.
Absolutely. I mean, but I'm having the time of my life right now. I've got so many racing games to choose from, and all of them look good. But I will say this about GT7. If GT7 comes to PC, through this Quest Pro or through the Crystal Lite when I get my hands on that, or the Quest 3, I do believe that GT7 will be one of the better looking games in VR. But honestly speaking, using this Quest Pro headset, out of all the racing games that I've got, actually, GT7 on PSVR 2 is the worst looking one because of the reprojection. Game has great colors, good graphics, but the reprojection makes the game look blurry. Oops.
Going into turn 3.
There's nothing like going around this corner right here and everything remains sharp.
I think that's half distance. You're looking good for fuel. Your last 2 laps left.
This game in VR.
We're seeing right front locking into the Andretti hairpin.
Look how fucking sharp the details are of the material. I mean, that's just mind-blowing.
Blue flag.
This game looks so incredible in VR. A lot of times, I don't even try to win races on this game. I don't try to set personal best with lap times. I just drive around and just be blown away by how good it looks. ACC, oof. The first time I ever saw that game in VR, it was... I'll put it this way. ACC, the first time I saw ACC in VR, the only game that looked worse than ACC in VR was Drive Club on the original PSVR. But over the years, I kept upgrading my PC and it went down that rabbit hole. Started out on the CyberPower, then bought an Alienware after the CyberPower. 2 of those PCs took a dump on me. I upgraded the Alienware and put a 3070 in it because it had originally had a 2070. Then, after such a time, I built the computer that's sitting in front of me right now, called Voltron, and I put the 3070 in there just to hold me off. And I put a 3080 in it, a 3080 Ti, and now I got a 4090 in it. All of that shit just to get CC in a tolerable state in terms of how it looks. If this game would have had the same physics as ACC, this would have been my #1 sim, and I would have never touched ACC. Because if this game had the physics of ACC,
but 123 said, ACC was also a big of moment for me. So 123 said, never tried it again.
In VR, I've got ACC to a tolerable state. It looks good now. But, you know, a $4,000 PC later, a $4,000 PC and a $1,000 headset, I finally got ACC to look good. Still don't look as good as AMS too. I mean, but now, you know, with this PC that I have, any game that I play in VR looks, you know, any racing game that I play in VR looks good now. Some of them still look old, but the pictures are sharp. Hell, I mean, I was even playing Race Room a couple of weeks ago in VR, and it looked old, but yeah, still looked good. Yeah, just some days I have my days where I want eye candy, and I'll jump in Automobilista too. Let's see what time it is, because it's got to be time for me to get ready to pick up my go grab my other car here. 1 second, folks. Yep, it's unfortunately about that time. I gotta go pick up my other car because he said it should be done by 2 o'clock. And then my brother's supposed to come by and about 4:30, and we're supposed to tie up some loose ends. Brake marker. Oh, the other cars are parked in the pits. We can go the wrong way, back into the pits.
Looks like we've been disqualified.
I knew that was gonna happen. Oh well. So I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up there, and I definitely want to thank you all for tuning in. So the main purpose was to talk about why I pre-ordered the Pimax Crystal Lite and why I may be possibly moving on from PS5 and PSVR 2. And as far as that goes, as I said before, once I get that Crystal Lite, if it turns out to be what I hope it is, I will be done with this headset as a sim racing headset. I'll still use it, as I said before, I'll still use it in on my other computer in my VR play space, because you know, through AirLink on that computer, it still runs pretty damn good and it still looks pretty damn good. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and head on out. I don't know if I'll stream something again. If I do, who knows what it'll be, because I don't know what it is lately, but a lot of these racing games that I've been playing lately, I've been enjoying myself playing single player much more lately than I ever have. I think that the dirty racing that goes on GT Sport just turned me off so bad that I just don't, that if I want a good clean race, it seems to me that playing a single player race and setting the AI to your preference has been giving me the competitive yet clean races that I want. So I'm hoping we'll get that. Well, I mean, it's kind of there on Le Mans Ultimate. It is kind of there. But the VR isn't online yet. And last footnote is R Factor 2. There is a special event tonight at Sebring. It's supposed to be a 2-hour race. Right now, there's no participants. If they get at least 10 participants, then I will register for the event and I'll stream it. It'll be a 2-hour race. I did a 2-hour race on Le Mans Ultimate at Circuit de la Sarthe. And although I wasn't in VR, I still had a wonderful time. And it had nothing to do with having to have the fastest lap or going bumper to bumper with another car and shit like that. It was all about conserving tires and fuel and stuff like that. And I think I qualified like maybe 10th in my class, and I ended up finishing 2nd in my class because other guys, they wiped out, hit the wall. The cars took a lot of damage, therefore they were a lot slower. Other people dropped out. So that being said, you know, these endurance races, you don't necessarily have to be the fastest. Just stay consistent and stay clean. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the special event on R Factor 2. And again, if there's enough participants, I'll register and I'll stream it. So other than that, we will see you guys more sooner than later. Thank you so much, everybody, for sitting through this conversation with me. I wasn't the most positive about PSVR 2, but I don't have a lot of optimism moving forward. I mean, until Sony shows us why we should be jumping up and down about this headset, all I can do is just stand off to the side with my arms folded. So, all right, just checking the chat one last time. So, 123, TSL 123, Alakazam, Ham. Thank you all for the conversation. I really appreciate it. And Alakazam, on one hand, I congratulate you on picking up a PSVR 2. On the other hand, I'm sorry that you were disappointed in what you saw versus the Quest 3. But on another hand, I hope you will find use out of that PSVR 2. I hope you will get enjoyment out of it. So with that, I am going to boogie on out of here. Thank you so much for watching. And again, we'll see you more sooner than later. Until then, you all know the line. Wakanda forever. Long live the king, and deuces. We'll see you in a little while, everybody. Have a good one.
So 120